Part 78. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 772. The big black dog is very angry. It didn't expect that this was actually left by the turtle. The ancient animal skin was full of turtle footprints. Moreover, the big black dog also knows a lot about the turtle. The other party is also, quite a trap. These are all turtle claws. It seems, it's not a suicide note at all. Ching Chen and others also shook their heads. But this turtle, the footprints are very artistic, they feel like a snake. Wu Date is also the Taoist. The big black dog was angry, but when he heard Wu Date's words, his ears suddenly stood up. Wrong. Could this thing be Xuanhuan's ciphertext? The big black dog looked at the lines of footprints carefully. It is indeed Xuanhuan's secret text, no one in this world can understand it except Xuanhuan. The big black dog couldn't help but become solemn. The Xuanhuan secret text can be called the most secret text in the world. This kind of ciphertext cannot be learned at all. When every Xuanhuan is born, these things will be learned naturally, which can be called a real secret that is not passed down. So, the big black dog can't understand it either. Not only did they use secret methods, but they also used Xuanhuan's ciphertext. The big black dog thought and said, "Put it away and take it back to the village to identify the turtle. The only choice is to find the turtle himself." Immediately, Long Xuanhuan put away the ancient animal skin. And at this moment, in a secret room in Genji Pavilion, to report to the pavilion master, the ancient animal skins and sacred soil were taken away by the young men who brought the 7-star treasure medicine. Han He came straight to report, with a somewhat complicated look on his face, and said, "It cost 200 million, it's such a waste." But Yu Linglong smiled slightly and said, "Prodigal. When people have money, they can spend it on fun and buy things to make them happy. They can't be said to be prodigal. You go down." She didn't say much. Han He leaves. Could it be that they know the secret on the animal skin? The origins of these people are becoming more and more confusing. She murmured and picked up a volume of ancient books. What kind of secrets are hidden in the 4 regions and 8 wastelands? Auction hall. Everyone, next is one of our highlights today. Wu Zun's legacy. As Bai Xuanyan opened her mouth, everyone in the room was paying attention. Finally come. We used all our resources, just for the sake of the technique. Must get it? Many people spoke excitedly. The reason why so many people came this time was because of the Wu Zun Kung Fu. Other ancient relics, even if they have research value, are not worth mentioning compared with Wu Zunfa. Wu Zunfa is the time for real fighting. The starting price for this technique is 30 million low-level source stones. Each price increase must not be less than 2 million. Start now. Bai Xian finished speaking. Suddenly, the field was directly detonated. Countless forces made crazy bids. 40 million. 55 million. 8 million. 100 million. The price skyrocketed and eventually exceeded 100 million yuan. But, even so, there are still many people following the price. Because the Wu Zun Dharma is so precious, once you get it, you can start a new religion. 130 million. 150 million. 300 million. Finally, a clear voice sounded. Tuabalai Ugjiu. She is fighting. She missed the divine land just now, but now she is determined to obtain this technique. Moreover, for this skill, even if Balin dynasty has to strain its muscles and bones, it is still worth it. So, she had no scruples. With more than 300 million, many of the 5 realm forces are unable to compete. 310 million. 350 million. However, Tai Ling sect, Ares Academy, Beast Spirit Mountain and other forces are still following. They are all 6 realm forces with strong financial resources. 1 billion. Suddenly, a voice sounded from somewhere on the second floor. Suddenly, everyone was shocked. Directly give a sky-high price of 1 billion? Who is this? There are too many rich people today. Not the person who just bought the divine soil. How many superpowers have come secretly? 1 billion, even the forces in the 6 realms should think about it, right? Everyone couldn't help but sigh. And at this moment, in cubicle number 29, Senminji sneered. He was the one who shouted out the price of 1 billion. For Guardians, low-level source stones really don't count. Some are. His participation in this game is simply a dimensionality reduction attack. At this moment, the hall was already a little quiet. 1 billion to 10 million. 1 billion and 40 million. But then, there were sounds from other places on the second floor. Senming raised his eyebrows with disdain in his eyes. It is strange that no one will fight to the end for Wu Zun's legacy. 2 billion. Senminji shouted out a price again. As a result, the place became completely quiet. No one dares to compete anymore. On the auction stage, Bai Xuanhuan's beautiful eyes were full of surprise. 2 billion, she was at the peak of her career. 2 billion times. 2 billion times. She raised the tumbler. But, right now, from a cubicle somewhere on the second floor, another voice sounded. 3 billion. This voice was the same one who had just slapped away the divine soil and shouted out a high price of 200 million. Suddenly, everyone in the venue was shocked. Holy shit, why did you increase the price? Just add 1 billion. Is this still a human being? 1 billion. Where did the nouveau riche come from? I wonder, even people from top powers can't be so squandering, right? Everyone in the venue felt a little surprised. When Bai Xuanhuan heard this, her crystal earlobes turned red. She was so excited. The VIP on the second floor, a real rich man. And in private room number 29. Senming's face darkened. He stood up and looked towards compartment 33. Where does the sound come from? Why is this voice so familiar? It sounds like the voices of those country bumpkins before. He was a little surprised. He had doubts when the voice shouted out 200 million before. Now, he feels more and more like it. Impossible. Those country bumpkins can't even come up with a deposit of 500,000 yuan, 3 billion? Joke. However, no matter who it is, he has no fear. 4 billion. He spoke directly. He believed that the other party would give up. 5 billion. The voice sounded again. Senminji couldn't help but feel angry. 5 billion, even he had to weigh it carefully. After all, even though the Guardian organization is wealthy, the resources it can mobilize are limited. 51 billion. He started to increase prices cautiously. 8 billion. Over there, they directly shouted out a super sky-high price. At this moment, many people in the venue were excited. What kind of rhythm is this? 8 billion source stones. How many 6 realm forces have lost everything and can't get it out? At this moment, even Senminji's head was buzzing. Damn, 8 billion. This almost touched his bottom line. What is your origin? Do you have to be aggressive? He couldn't help but ask. However, the other side just responded easily. Me? I'm a country bumpkin. I've got billions, just for sprinkling water, can't I just shout for fun? If you can't, then just shut up. Kid, this is not the place you should come to. Those words were simply extremely mean. Everyone in the auction hall was a little startled when they heard the conversation between the two VIPs. Especially in compartment number 33. Billions of billions, Sprinkle water, shouting for fun? Grass. Killing is heartbreaking. All the people present were the leaders of the 6 realms and 5 realms forces, and now they all wanted to vomit blood after hearing this. In compartment 29. Hearing this, Sen Minji was startled. Damn, at this moment, he was sure that this was the voice of that damn fat man. And calling himself a country bumpkin, is obviously mocking him. A few country bumpkins, dare to mock me. He was angry, and his anger went directly to his head, and he shouted. 10 billion. He couldn't bear it, he couldn't be embarrassed like this. 10 billion. As soon as these words came out, the whole place fell into silence. It can be called a truly sky-high price. At this moment, everyone looked towards the 33rd compartment. What kind of sky-high price will the mysterious figure with billions of dollars pay for? However, compartment 33 was quiet. He was silent for a long time. Huh? Why is there no sound? Aren't you going to follow? For a moment, everyone was a little confused. On the auction stage, Xuanhuan, who was already shocked, also reacted and hurriedly performed his duties, saying, 1 billion times. Twice a billion times. The hammer is about to fall. In cubicle number 29, Sen Minji, whose eyes were red just now, was calm and anxious now. 10 billion? Damn it, isn't this a loss of blood? Why were you so impulsive just now? It's over, 10 billion, if the young master knew it, wouldn't he kill himself? Follow me. He hurriedly shouted towards compartment 33. Tisk, you idiot, I shouted just for fun, did you really think I would follow you? 10 billion, I'll give it to you. Wu Dade's voice sounded mean. When Sen Ming heard this, he was so angry that he almost vomited blood. 10 billion, 3 times, deal. On the auction stage, Xuanhuan's almost trembling, almost moaning voice also sounded along with the hammering sound. She couldn't help but look towards cubicle number 33. At this moment, she really doubted whether there were really VIPs in there. Simply, the best supporter. 10 billion, Wu Zun's legacy was sold. Everyone in the audience was speechless. Faced with this sky-high price, everyone can be said to be convinced that they have lost. Hey, let's go. How can this kind of thing be so easy to compete with? Hey, do your best and obey fate. Many people got up and prepared to leave. Please be patient. Our auction is not over yet. At this time, Xuanhuan's voice continued to sound, saying, today we at Genchi Pavilion happened to come across an extremely rare treasure. This treasure will be auctioned next. And the grade of this treasure is conservatively estimated to be 7 stars. Xuanhuan was radiant with charm, and her words were full of excitement. What? 7-star treasure medicine? Real or fake? Impossible. There are only 2 or 3 rumors of the 7-star treasure medicine in the entire martial world. How can there be one in Baichuanzhou? Who would put this kind of treasure up for auction? Are you crazy? Suddenly, the entire auction hall was in a sensation. Okay. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 773. The 7-star elixir directly ignited the atmosphere in the venue. Everyone who had just been preparing to leave with regrets was now talking heatedly. 7-star treasure medicine, how could something like this leak out? Genchi Pavilion, it's getting more and more surprising. 7-star treasure medicine, second only to Wu Zunfa. The 7-star treasure medicine is something that is rumored throughout the entire martial world. It can be called a rare artifact. It should be noted that in the Wuhuang world, a 5-realm master can support a 5-realm force, and a 5-realm force can dominate one side. The masters of the 6 realms can be called real giants, and there are not many forces in the 6 realms. In the entire Northern Territory, there are no more than 5 6-realm forces, and as far as the world knows, there are no more than 10 masters of the 6 realms alive. This shows that there are few masters in the 6th realm. As for the 7-star masters, there are few of them in the history of the Northern Territory. There are only a handful of them in the entire Wuhuang world. Those who reach the 7th realm, can cross the sky and go to the true ancestor realm. 7-star elixir means that some masters of the 6th realm can break through to the 7th realm and give birth to 7th realm forces. This is simply unimaginable. So, for a while, everyone couldn't believe it. How could such a thing exist in the Wuhuang realm? We, the Tailing sect, must get it. We will never allow other 6-realm forces to get it. Ares Academy, Tailing sect, etc. are all extremely anxious at this moment. This time, I must not let it go again. Tuabalai Ugzio even clenched her fists. 7-star elixir actually appeared in this remote place. In the 29th compartment, Sen Minji was also startled. The 7-star elixir is also very important. But now, he has no money. Sen Minji hesitated for a moment, then took off the jade medal from his waist, gritted his teeth and said, "Mr. Liu, send this token to Genshi Pavilion and borrow it from them. I can't let go of this 7-star elixir. His own token represents the guardian. The reputation is extremely high. I believe in Genshi Pavilion and will not refuse." Immediately, the old man beside him took the token and left. On the auction stage, Bai Xuanhuan felt the comments from all directions, and her beautiful eyes became even more joyful. As an auctioneer, she felt that today, she had so many orgasms, and she could only feel so good. The pinnacle of life. Maybe I will never have this kind of enjoyment again in my life, right? Miss Bai, are you sure that what you are going to sell is the 7-star elixir? Under the stage, a solemn voice sounded, saying, "You are responsible for the reputation of your Genshi Pavilion." There was doubt in the voice. Because the 7-star elixir is really too rare. Who would be willing to put this kind of thing up for auction? Totally impossible. Hearing this, Bai Xuanhuan took a deep breath and continued. Everyone can completely believe in the authenticity of this precious medicine. Because this is the personal appraisal by our chief appraiser, Master Ai Shi. Of course, in order to let everyone feel it, I will let the precious medicine emit some medicinal energy. She clapped her hands, and the two beauties came up with a jade plate. Inside the jade plate was a sealed jade box. In the jade box, there was a treasure medicine the size of a fingernail, black. Bai Xuanhuan gently opened the jade box. A faint smell spread throughout the entire place. I'll apply it. This medicine feels so comfortable. Just by smelling it, I already feel it. Is it really a 7-star rating? It's terrible. A treasure medicine of this level actually appears at the auction. Am I dreaming? Many powerful people are short of breath and wish they could hear more. At this moment, everyone was certain that this must be a 7-star star. Besides, 7-star rating is just a guarantee. Bai Xuanhuan smiled slightly and said, "To be honest, this medicine is too terrible. Master Ai Shi cannot completely determine its level, but 7 stars is the lower limit." Hearing this, everyone felt even more unbelievable. Could it be 8 stars? 9 stars? Unthinkable. Why are you displaying such a treasure in your pavilion? Someone couldn't help but continue to ask questions. This is so abnormal. Bai Xian sighed and said, "Actually, I don't want to come forward with this kind of precious medicine. To be honest, our Genshi Pavilion spent all the existing origin stones and spent a total of 20 billion. We only bought part of it. The other part, we couldn't afford to buy it, so we had to accept the seller's entrustment and conduct an auction." Hearing this, everyone was stunned. It turns out, Genchi Pavilion has already bought part of it. Now, they are completely relieved. The elixir this time is divided into two parts, one is the elixir liquid, and the other is the elixir itself. The elixir liquid is also from 7 stars. It can be said that the two are equally good. Bai Xuanhuan said. First, let's auction the elixir liquid. The starting price is 10 million. Start now. The starting price is 10 million, second only to Wuzun's legacy. 13 million. 25 million. 45 million. There was a lot of excitement in the field, and it was rising rapidly. 20 million. Tuabalai Ugzio shouted out a high price. What we have now is a 7-star magic medicine, which is completely different from the divine soil that had a 5% chance of growing a 6-star medicine just now. So, she was desperate. Even if it empties the national treasury, we will still rob. 300 million. 400 million. Ares Academy and others were immediately followed by Lele. But in just a short moment, the competition for the elixir liquid has already reached hundreds of millions. And in private room number 29. Huh? Why didn't that damn fat guy bid any more this time? Sen Minji thought. Mr. Liu has returned, bringing 5 billion source stones. They were all borrowed from Genchi Pavilion. Moreover, Genchi Pavilion cannot produce so much at once, and it will have to be shipped from other branches in 3 days. However, with Genchi Pavilion as a guarantee, he is already qualified to participate in the auction. The current auction price has exceeded 1 billion. Still rising. At this moment, many forces in the 5 realms have silenced themselves and do not dare to fight for it anymore. Tuabalai Ugzio also gritted his teeth and held on. Balan dynasty is definitely the one with the deepest accumulation among the forces in the 5 realms. However, now they are competing with the forces of the 6 realms. Soon, the bidding approached 1.5 billion. I'm going to order this elixir. However, I'm afraid that fat guy will interfere with it again. In the 29th compartment, Sen Minji whispered. Suddenly, an idea came to his mind to get the precious medicine safely. Haha, you damn country bumpkin from box 33, do you really think you are nothing? He spoke loudly, taunted towards box 33, and then said, 5 billion. Come if you can. As soon as Sen Ming finished speaking, he broke into a cold sweat. He just acted deliberately to make that damn fat man think that he was trying to deceive the other party. In this way, the opponent will most likely not bid. Then, you can get the medicine safely. There was silence in the hall. Even the god of War Academy, Tuabalai Ugzio, etc. could only remain silent. Incomparable. 5 billion, another sky-high price. No, the person in the 29th compartment, seems to be targeting the 33rd compartment. Haha, if you can't get the 7-star elixir, you can just watch a good show. Just now he was provoked by the other party and lost 10 billion. I suspect that now he just wants compartment 33 to be fooled as well. It makes sense. If compartment 33 follows, he will probably retreat. Many people are speculating. Everyone has a feeling that the 29 cubicle is trying to trick the 33 cubicle. However, while everyone was waiting, there was no sound from compartment 33. Once in 5 billion. 5 billion twice. Bai Xian's eyebrows were beaming, the big customer on the 29th floor is such a good person. 5 billion 3 times. The final word. In the 29th compartment, Sen Ming relaxed for a moment, and his face showed a touch of unparalleled joy. He wanted to look up to the sky and laugh. Damn fat man, you think I'm on the 1st floor, but actually, I'm on the 3rd floor. You think I am plotting against you. In fact, I want you to think that I am plotting against you. If you don't dare to take action, my goal will be achieved. He felt very stable and he was extremely smart. Soon, The cup of yellow elixir liquid was delivered to his cubicle. The 7-star elixir looks extraordinary. Senming picked up the jade cup, his eyes filled with pride. When the time comes, send the martial arts method and the elixir to the young master. The young master will definitely be very happy. Maybe, I'll give myself 2 mouthfuls. Looking forward to it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 774. And at this moment, in compartment 33, Xuanhuan and others were enjoying themselves while drinking the small wine served by Genshi Pavilion. The provocation from the 29 cubicle just now, they simply ignored it. After all, facing Dehai's Nasha, they really have no desire to compete. Although Wu Dade wanted to respond to Sen Minji's provocation, he still gave up. Just in case it ends up, take that thing back. That's really unethical. You're shooting yourself in the foot. What a damn dog. The great supernatural power that reaches the heaven and the earth has actually made the world so sought after, you can be regarded as the peak of dog life. Wu Dade couldn't help but speak. Xuanhuan and others also had complicated expressions. They never expected that big black dog thing, would allow people to fight for it. Next, it's the black elixir. Xuanhuan then spoke and said. We divided this elixir into 10 shares in total. The reserve price is 10 million for each copy, divided into 10 auctions. This is their strategy to suppress the world. After the previous fight, the real big customer was probably too weak to pay the sky-high price anymore. Therefore, it was divided into 10 parts and all the 6 realms of the next level were harvested. In this way, the benefits are maximized. Suddenly, many forces in the field were very happy. This gives them ample opportunities. Suddenly, everyone's enthusiasm was aroused. Competition is fierce. The bidding keeps coming. In the end, Tailing Sect, Ares Academy, and Beast Spirit Mountain each took 2 copies. Tuabolai Ugjio of the Northland dynasty finally took a photo. She cried with joy. The ancestor was truly blessed. The remaining 3 copies were taken away by the martial arts pavilion. The precious medicine was divided up. The auction is finally over. When Wu Dade and others left the box, Han He greeted them respectfully. He respectfully presented them with a space ring. Young masters, this space ring is the source stone of 20 billion for us to purchase half of the precious medicine. Including 10 billion low-level source stones, 50 million mid-level source stones, and 500,000 high-level source stones. In addition, we will not take any commission from the auction of the other half of the precious medicine. Therefore, the total income is 12 billion. After deducting the 200 million spent by several young masters on the auction, we still need to give you 11.8 billion. However, among them, 5 billion, will need to be paid in 3 days, please forgive me. Han He spoke. Hearing this, Xian King I felt dizzy in front of his eyes. These tens of billions. It feels like playing. She calculated in her mind that this harvest amounted to 31.8 billion origin stones. You need to know that even a top 6 level power cannot be produced. Or so be it. At this time, Qing Chen said. Then 5 billion, take us to visit the treasure house of your Genshi pavilion. Today's oath keepers are still, too poor. There is an urgent need to pile up various resources. Anything in the small mountain village that leaks out to the outside world will cause huge waves, so Qing Chen does not intend to give them resources directly from the village. Say it again if necessary. For now, buying some from outside should be enough. Genshi Pavilion is just right? Han He nodded and said. Okay, please come with me. The main thing is that the pavilion master has already ordered these people to respond to their requests. He immediately took Wu Date and others to open the treasure house of Genchi Pavilion. There are all kinds of things in it. Kung fu, weapons, armor, elixirs, etc. It's full of beautiful things. Everyone, please take a look at this Linghong armor. Our Genchi Pavilion has collected 600 sets, of which 300 sets are suitable for cultivators of the third realm, and the other 300 sets are suitable for cultivators of the fourth realm. This set of exercises is a 5-level exercise, absolutely extraordinary. These swords are all used by cultivators of the 4 realms. Han He introduced them one by one. Well, it's all good. Except for the exercises, I don't need them. Everything else is empty. Qing Chen opened his mouth directly. With senior brother Long Xuanhuan here, he doesn't even care about martial arts or anything like that. Han He was shocked when he heard this. Move out. Over the years, who dared to say such things in Genchi Pavilion? However, these few in front of me, are now considered the richest men in Baixuan continent, or even the entire northern territory. Really, evacuate. Han He was a little suspicious. He felt that these gentlemen didn't pay close attention at all. Is 5 billion enough? Qing Chen just asked questions. That's enough, that's enough. The total value of all the materials in this treasure house is 4.2 billion. We have liquidated it. Han He spoke hurriedly. Okay, these are also packed with storage rings. After Qing Chen finished speaking, Han He nodded like a chicken pecking at rice, and hurriedly asked people to start pretending. Finally, there is a big bag just for storing rings. Carry it yourself. Qing Chen opened his mouth to Wu Xiaoqan. Wu Xiaoqan was shocked when he heard this. Master, are these for us? He stuttered a little. Is it possible that you want me to take these rags with me? Qing Chen spoke casually. Wu Xiaoqan suddenly felt a little shocked. However, when he thought about it, to the owner, these were indeed worse than rubbish. He took a deep breath and said, Xiaokan understands. He accepted it. Here, you can take these too. I'll leave some high-grade source stones for the dead dogs to use to practice formations. You can take the rest as well. Wu Date also gave Wu Xiaoqan the storage ring containing tens of billions of source stones. These source stones are really of no use to them. It's a burden to put on your body. When Xian King I saw this, he became even more confused. The Oath Keeper's lineage, after this time, the foundation exploded directly, and even the forces in the 6 realms couldn't compare with it. You can imagine how powerful the Oath Keepers will become in the near future. It's good to have a background and a backer. Really, you don't have to worry about anything. Okay, let's go. Long Xuanhuan and others left immediately. Han He sent them away all the way. And just after they left, not far from Genchi Pavilion, on a snow-white carriage with white scales, a young man stared at their backs with cold eyes. It's indeed them. Mr. Liu, please go there. Sen Minji spoke coldly. Beside him, Mr. Liu nodded and was about to leave. Wait a moment. Suddenly, Sen Minji thought of something again and said. These people are a little weird, I'm afraid they are deceitful. You bring the martial forbidden mirror and directly use the soul-stealing technique to turn them into slaves. The Wu Jin mirror is a forbidden treasure. It is said that it is an imitation of a certain artifact inside the Guardian. That artifact is related to the legendary martial lord. Its imitation can also produce martial arts suppression. Anyone who is caught in the martial arts mirror will be eclipsed in martial arts and become like a useless person, unable to exert their martial arts strength. Mr. Liu said. Good. He left immediately. If you offend me, you will only die. Sen Ming said coldly, and he couldn't help but take out a jade bottle. In the jade bottle is a burnt yellow liquid. 7-star elixir. His eyes were a little drunk and he murmured. Young master has always been kind to his subordinates. This medicine, I am indispensable. Pavilion master, they left. Everything in the treasure house, except for the exercises, was taken away. In addition, I found that the guardian seemed to be intentionally targeting them, but he didn't mind his own business. Han he reported in the secret room of Genshi Pavilion. When Yu Linglong heard this, she couldn't help but said. Took away the things in the treasure house. Those things should be of no use to them, unless they are used by others. Are there a group of weaker followers around them? Yu Linglong thought. Pavilion master, the information on those people has been collected. At this time, another middle-aged man walked up quietly. He presented some secret letters. Yu Linglong opened it. Wu Xiaokan, gravekeeper, Mo Mingzu's fiancé. Mountain village fisherman, monk, fat man, dog, their identities are unknown. Above are all the records about Long Xuanhuan and others since they entered the public eye. It can be said that the ability of Genshi Pavilion is very terrifying. Gravekeepers, if I remember correctly, are also an ancient force, guarding the tombs of heroes and martyrs, waiting for those who take the oath. Yu Linglong murmured. Could it be that those fishermen from the mountain village are the ones who should take the oath? Do they have anything to do with the great changes in this life? A suspicion flashed through her mind. Long Xuanhuan and others left Genshi Pavilion about half an hour later. Well, this place is remote enough, suitable for killing people. The big black dog suddenly spoke. It turned its head calmly. An old man slowly appeared. Surprisingly, it was Mr. Liu. Hand over all the origin stones and treasures you have. I'll leave you with a whole body. Mr. Liu spoke indifferently. His chi was released lightly, his whole body was glowing, and the Taoism around him was in harmony with his thoughts. This is the realm of 5 treasures. A strong person in the 5 realms. But the big black dog looked at him with great contempt and said. Just you. Mr. Liu was immediately angry. How dare this dog despise him? You are all going to die. His big hand suddenly grabbed it. The Daoyun around him was trembling, the air was whistling, and the turbid gray original energy was surging. This blow is extremely powerful. However, the big black dog just raised his paw. In an instant, the big black dog was as powerful as a giant beast. Since entering the Chaos Ancestral Realm, the big black dog's cultivation has progressed very quickly. It was one of the 10 spirits in its previous life, and had already gone through the path of cultivation. In this life, the small courtyard was full of big guys, including Peach Tree, Chicken, etc., all of whom were the strongest. Therefore, in its cultivation, there is no bottleneck at all. Even though the Tao fruit is outside, it is still very strong. Now, its power actually seems to be stronger than Mr. Liu. What? Mr. Liu was shocked that this dog was so powerful. He was panicked and hurriedly took out a mirror. It was a stone mirror, which seemed to have some kind of suppressive power and instantly shone on Qing Chen, Long Xuanhuan, Big Black Dog and others. Suddenly, the moment Long Xuanhuan was reflected in the mirror. Snapped. The martial arts mirror exploded to pieces. No. Mr. Liu looked at Long Xuanhuan, a flash of incomparable horror flashed in his eyes, and said. Martial Lord's aura. He trembled. Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 775. The martial arts mirror in Mr. Liu's hand exploded directly. At this moment, Mr. Liu's heart was filled with huge waves, and his eyes were filled with shock. It should be noted that this magical weapon is a replica of a peerless artifact within the Guardian organization. Can suppress martial arts. That artifact is related to Wuzun from the pre-White Mist era. Therefore, Unless these people possess other artifacts related to Wuzun and possess Wuzun's energy, they can cause the Wujin mirror to break. Is it the prohibitor or some other powerful force? He stared at Long Xuanhuan non-stop. He was convinced that Long Xuanhuan must be carrying treasures related to Wuzun, otherwise he would not have the aura of Wuzun. However, his thinking could no longer continue. Because the big black dog's paw has fallen. No. Mr. Lu let out a shrill cry and exploded into blood mist. The soul is destroyed. Being arrogant in front of this emperor is seeking death. The big black dog spoke coldly. Stop silencing the dead dog and let's go. Wu Date is the Tao. Now, in the northern imperial capital, the letter left by Wu Gui has been obtained, and there is no point in keeping it. It's time to go to Tianai's Hu. Not good. At the same time, on a luxurious carriage, Sen Minji's expression suddenly changed, and he hurriedly took out a lamp. That's Mr. Lu's soul lamp. At this moment, the soul lamp has gone out. Sen Ming's pupils shrank. This means, Mr. Lu is dead. Mr. Lu, he's gone. How can this be? Mr. Lu is a strong man in the fifth realm, and he also wears a martial arts mirror. Who can kill him? Others were also shocked when they saw this. No. I have to go and investigate in person. As soon as Sen Ming got up, his heart was on fire. Mr. Lu was actually dead. Who dares to attack the guardian? That's courting death. The group of them stood up in a hurry. Shortly after, they followed the direction Mr. Lu left and arrived at a remote place. Is this a fragment of the Wujin mirror? Suddenly, a young man looked at some broken crystal fragments on the ground. This breath looks very similar. How could it be? How could the Wujin Jing be destroyed? Everyone looked at each other. But Sen Minji's face turned extremely gloomy. I see. Those people possess the magical weapons of the martial lord. They are the visitors. He gritted his teeth. Hearing this, everyone around was shocked. Visitor? Is this, really? Someone asked. Of course, the martial lord from the pre-White Mist era only left two artifacts. Martial arts true self mirror, martial arts heaven-bearing jar. Sen Ming said. The mirror of true self belongs to our guardians. The martial arts jar to the sky is obtained by those who are imprisoned. There is no third thing in the world. And the martial arts mirror is an imitation of the martial arts true self mirror. If you want to crack it, you need at least an imitation of the martial arts Tongtian jar. This thing is only available to the visitors. His face was extremely gloomy. It's actually them. These visitors are really despicable. On one hand, they are negotiating with our guardians in the true ancestor realm, but on the other hand, they are attacking us. Everyone was indignant. It seems that the negotiations in the true ancestor realm may have broken down, otherwise, the visitors would not dare to do this. Sen Minji felt that his mind was unusually calm at the moment. It's like seeing through everything. Brother Sen, what should we do now? Someone asked. Sen Ming said. You first send the precious medicine and skills to the young master immediately. As for these visitors, don't leave them alone for the time being. Our current mission is to seize the inheritance for the young master who is on the Northern Martial Arts Gold List. The young master behind them has great plans. The auction has come to an end, and the major forces that have gained something are now working hard to prepare for the competition for the Martial Arts Gold List. You three are the hope of our Martial Arts Pavilion. In the Martial Arts Pavilion, Deputy Pavilion Master Yukin Wu sat in the main hall, looking at the three young people below. 2 men and 1 woman. 2 of the men are the 2 geniuses hidden in the snow of the Martial Arts Pavilion. Shi Zhenxiang, Liao He. The third person is Mo Mingzhu. The Martial Arts Pavilion failed to recruit a disciple, so Mo Mingzhu was admitted to the level of Snow Genius for training. Xuanhuan's face had a gloomy look that he had never seen before, and he said, I can tell you directly, our martial arts pavilion will definitely get the martial arts gold list. However, the level of opportunity you can get depends on your own destiny. These are 3 precious medicines that were bought at exorbitant prices in the pavilion. This time, we have decided to give them to you. What we expect from you is not just the martial arts gold list, but the martial arts list. A middle-aged man next to him came up with 3 black elixirs. Suddenly, Shi Zhenxiang, Liao He and Mo Mingzhu all breathed a little quickly, with surprise in their eyes. This is a 7-star treasure medicine. Xuanhuan's eyes were filled with hope and he said, Here, let's take it while it's hot. It's easy to digest. He waved his hand, and the middle-aged man immediately distributed the 3 elixirs to the 3 geniuses. The 3 of them were very happy. Especially Mo Mingzhu, she clenched her fists with excitement in her eyes. She has contacted the clan and confirmed that her sister Mo Minglin has already cancelled her marriage. Moreover, he was defeated by Wu Xiaoqan. This made Mo Mingzhu extremely regretful. But, fortunately, the martial arts pavilion allowed her to become a genius in the snow. She instantly regained her psychological advantage, and she also met the hidden geniuses Shi Zhenxiang and Liao He who were previously beyond her reach. After these few days of contact, she has established some ambiguous relationships with the 2 of them. Walk out of the hall. Senior brother Zhenxiang, my foundation is so bad that it's useless even if I eat it. Otherwise, can I give it to you? Seeing that Liao He had walked away, Mo Mingzhu suddenly spoke deliberately to Shi Zhenxiang. Junior sister Mingzhu, why are you like this? You are not very good at basics, so you need to eat more. Come on, I will give you some of mine. Shi Zhenxiang spoke generously. Mo Mingzhu was immediately delighted and whispered. Senior brother, can I go to you to learn martial arts in the first half of the night? Shi Zhenxiang said, of course. Shortly after, Mo Mingzhu found Liao He and repeated his old tricks. Even if I don't have the magic medicine, I can still be on the martial arts gold list. Junior sister, I will share some of mine with you. He also gave some to Mo Mingzhu. Mo Mingzhu was even more happy. Now, she could have a small meal. Thank you, senior brother. Senior brother, can I come and ask you about the exercises in the middle of the night? Liao He suddenly smiled and said. Yes, but when the time comes, you are not allowed to call me senior brother. Then, what's that called? Call daddy. You are bad. Is that medicine really effective for ancestors? To the north of the dynasty underground palace, Tuabalai Ugjiu looked at the stone gate nervously and asked anxiously. Beside her, a middle-aged man walking like a tiger and a dragon was also waiting. He was Tuabalai Ugjiu's father, Tuaba Tian, the Lord of Balan Emperor. Boom! Suddenly, a chi machine burst out from the underground palace. It's done. The ancestor took the magic medicine and really had a breakthrough. Tuaba Tian, the emperor in the north, was suddenly pleasantly surprised. Aoer, this treasure medicine is for you to use. You must win the martial arts gold list, or even the martial arts ranking. In the God of War Academy, an old man looked at Nangong Ao and said. The academy has sacrificed so much for you. Nangong Ao clenched his hands and looked at the rare treasure. He was so moved that he shed tears. The academy treats me, it's really good. For this time's martial arts gold list, almost all the sects that had photographed the miracle medicine gave the elixir to the most talented disciples in the sect. Nangong Ao, Bulet Entailing, Beast Spirit Prince, etc. all got it. During this period, various news about Tianai province was also spreading rapidly. The martial arts gold list is becoming more and more obvious. A month ago, I just saw a phantom, but now it is really going to appear. Many talented people have arrived in Tianai province. The names left on the martial arts gold list are clearly visible. In less than 3 days, they will be completely born. A lot of news has also touched the heartstrings of the world. Somewhere at the same time, Lord Qi, that peerless prodigy, has obtained the martial master technique. He Luo reported to Zhao Jixiao. Zhao Jixiao smiled and said, "Very good. When he completes that volume of skills, the forbidden curse will also take effect in his body. The chess pieces have fallen, we can wait and close the net. I hope he won't disappoint us and can awaken the last martial lord list. Only in this way can we have a chance to wake up the sleeping evil corpse," he whispered. The martial master list is the most mysterious, having only appeared twice in the martial wilderness world in history. It can be said that the martial arts golden list appears for the peerless geniuses in martial arts, and the martial arts ranking can only be awakened by the peerless geniuses among peerless geniuses. By the way, the one named Ao Wushuan has good qualifications, so train him well. Zhao Jixiao suddenly mentioned something again and said, "This person seems to be born with a lucky star. He is very suitable for us as a visitor. Let him improve his cultivation faster. He will be useful in many places in the future." Hearing this, He Luo happily said, "Don't worry, sir." Long Zixuan and his party rushed to Tianai Prefecture. Under the strong request of the big black dog, they plucked up the courage and tried the teleportation array again. Sure enough, the transmission was distorted again. However, this time it was not that outrageous. It was only a distance of 7 or 8 states. After a long journey, they finally appeared in Tianai Prefecture. Tianai's Hu is one of the most mysterious places in Balan dynasty. It is said that every once in a while, there will be blood rain in Tianai Prefecture. In the blood rain, there are often ghosts crying and wailing. Named Tianai. Entering this land, you will see a completely different scenery from other states in the northern dynasty. It is a depression. There are few people on the land and most of it is desert. Because whenever the blood rain starts, the creatures on this land often die inexplicably. Therefore, almost no one dares to live there. But now, on the surrounding land, there are countless cars racing towards them. Everyone is heading towards the center of Tianai province. Tianai Mountain. The martial arts golden list, this time, appeared in the sky above Tianai Mountain. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 776. It's so desolate. Wu Dade couldn't help but sigh. The surrounding area is overgrown with weeds and a desert. From time to time, the ground reveals yellow and reddish-brown spots, as if it had been dyed red by blood. Visible in the distance, on the distant land, the shadow of a mountain stands. In the sky above the mountain shadow, there seems to be a golden list, shining brightly, shining on the entire state. Everyone is heading that way. The big black dog and others also approached quickly. Not long after, they had arrived in front of Tianai Mountain. Tianai Mountain is a gray earth mountain with no green vegetation at all. The earth mountain is covered with dense gray stone grass. The rumors from the outside are correct. Tianai Mountain has the power to gather the source of gray fog. This mountain seems to have swallowed up too much of the source of gray mist. Here, the existence of the source of white mist cannot be felt at all. Why do I feel there is something wrong in this mountain? In a few years, I am afraid there will be a big disaster. Many powerful people have already arrived. At this moment, many people looked at Tianai Mountain in front of them with solemn expressions. Tianai Mountain is very strange. The martial arts gold medal appears here. Is there anything special about it? In the God of War Academy, there is an old man with silver hair and scorching eyes. His appearance caused many people to exclaim. Vice President of the God of War Academy, Luo Tianling. He's here in person. On the other side, an old man in black who was sitting in the car was also staring at Tianai Mountain and said, "Brother Tianling, after the competition for the martial arts gold ranking, we can't say that we will join forces to explore the Tianai Mountain." The old man had a thin face, but he had a black sword in his hand. The long knife was as tall as a person, very wide, and seemed extremely heavy. In fact, no one knows about that knife. That was the treasured sword of the leader of the Tailing sect, the Tu Peng divine sword. It is said that the long black knife was stained with Peng's blood. And the old man is the leader of Tailing sect, Buletin Wanshan. Beside him, Buletin Tailing closed his eyes and meditated, digesting the last of the medicine. That's how it should be. Luo Tianling, the dean of the God of War Academy, nodded. Haha, it's just a small hill, what's so scary about it? At this time, an old female voice came, and in the sky, more than a dozen terrifying giant eagles were seen, spreading their wings and pulling a chariot. The chariot landed slowly. On the chariot, an old woman was holding a snake-headed crutch with an extraordinary aura. The Beast Spirit Prince was sitting next to her. The mountain woman from Beast Spirit Mountain. Someone spoke solemnly. The two most powerful people in Beast Spirit Mountain are the monkey and the monkey. Now, Shanpo is here in person. Strong people gathered. There are countless other forces in the 5 realms. All kinds of proud men gathered together. At the same time, Yukin Wu from the martial arts pavilion also appeared on the scene with 3 great geniuses. Sen Minji is also here. As a follower of that young master, he is also very talented in martial arts. He wants to compete for the young master's martial arts gold list in the north. That young master wants to collect all the inheritances on the martial arts gold list. In this way, the probability of awakening the Wu Zunbang is increased. Qing Chen and others also came over. Under this mountain, I feel a hint of the aura of strange creatures. Qing Chen whispered. They have dealt with strange creatures many times and are very familiar with them. In the Chaos Ancestral Realm, all creatures are inhaling the source of grey mist, but their auras are different from those of pure weird creatures, and they are far from being called weird creatures. The strange creatures are immortal and immortal. They are almost all grey mist creatures left over from the Great Wars in the pre-white mist era. It has completely merged with the grey fog. The energy emitted by that thing seems to be suppressing the mountain. They felt that the martial arts golden list in the sky seemed to have strands of light shining on the stone mountain. The aura of grey mist in Shishan was suppressed to some extent. That martial arts gold list looks a bit familiar. Long Zixuan spoke, thinking deeply. It's the village fishermen and the others. Many people in the crowd spotted them, causing a commotion. After all, a few days ago, at the foot of the martial arts peak, Wu Xiaokan defeated a group of enemies by himself. The fishermen in the mountain village even made the deputy master of the martial arts pavilion kneel down to ask for advice. His reputation has already become famous. Their realm is not as good as yours. At the God of War Academy, Luo Tianling spoke calmly to Nangang Ao and said, "You are now a powerful person in the 4 realms, which is rare in history." Nangang Ao nodded and said, "Disciple understands. I'll beat them all." He stared at Long Zixuan and others with firm eyes. "Don't let a few ants interfere with your Taoist mind." Tailing sect, Buletin Wanshan also spoke towards Buletin Tailing. Buletin Tailing nodded and said, "I am invincible." In Beast Spirit Mountain, Prince Beast Spirit looked at Long Zixuan and others and said, "Mother-in-law, they are the war slaves I want to capture." The old woman holding a snake head crutch looked at Long Zixuan and others and said, "You have a good eye, he is a good candidate to be a war slave." Mo Mingzi from the martial arts pavilion also saw Long Zixuan and his party. "Dean, I'll go over there for a moment." She spoke to Vice Dean Yukin Wu. Yukin Wu's face was a little gloomy. He had hatred for Long Zixuan, in his heart. He once knelt down to worship the other party, but in the end, he became a laughing stock. They will all die today. Xuanhuan said coldly. Go ahead. If that guy named Wu Xiaoqan is willing to switch to us, let him kneel down now and I'll give him a chance. Mo Mingzu nodded, her eyes fell on Wu Xiaoqan, and she walked over. I already know what happened in the Oath-Keeping Valley. She spoke coldly to Wu Xiaoqan and said. If I give you another chance, will you regret your decision to break off the engagement? There was a trace of desire to conquer in her beautiful eyes. She had no feelings for Wu Xiaoqan. Now that she has Shi Zhenxiang and Liao He, she is more than enough. However, Wu Xiaoqan actually broke off the engagement directly. She was so rude and hurt her sister. In fact, the last time they met, the other party knew his identity, but he was just like a passerby. She has always been sought after and admired by others, even the hidden geniuses in the martial arts pavilion fell under her pomegranate skirt, but Wu Xiaoqan treated herself with such indifference. This made her feel very unhappy. Therefore, even though she has conquered two hidden geniuses, she still wants to prove her charm. Of course, even if Wu Xiaoqan really regretted breaking off the engagement and pursuing her again, she would not really agree to Wu Xiaoqan. She just wanted to make Wu Xiaoqan surrender. However, when Wu Xiaoqan heard this, he shook his head and said. Nothing to regret. We're not a good fit. He was of a pure nature and did not sense Mo Mingzu's faint sarcasm. However, Mo Mingzu's beautiful eyes flashed with displeasure and said. Have you heard about the 7-star elixir auctioned by Zhenqi Pavilion? Wu Xiaoqan said. This, I heard about it. His expression was a little complicated. Not only had he heard about it, it was simply, very clear. I have already received a dose and become one of the youngest four-realm experts in history. She looked at Wu Xiaoqan lightly and said. You still don't regret it now. This is an unparalleled honor. At her age, she has become a strong person in the four realms. Although it is said that it is due to the powerful power of the 7-star elixir, it is still enough to make the world admire him. Wu Xiaoqan was immediately shocked. You ate. He stared at Mo Mingzu dumbfounded. On the way to Tianai's Hu, he and Xian King I had already asked Wu Date about the origin of the 7-star elixir. At that time, they were all shocked beyond measure. The elixir that was so sought after by everyone in the world actually belonged to Senior Dog. Now, that elixir was actually eaten by Mo Mingzu? Mo Mingzu sneered in her heart. At this moment, Wu Xiaoqan was finally shocked by herself. Certainly. Pride rose in her heart. For a country bumpkin like Wu Xiaoqan, he might never know what it was like to take the 7-star elixir. Wu Xiaoqan's eyes were dark and he said. How is the taste? Thinking of the taste of the elixir, a haze flashed across Mo Mingzu's face. Although the medicine was powerful, the taste was really. It must be very sweet. You don't need to ask. She didn't want to mention it, so she continued. If you regret it and are willing to kneel down to me, I may be able to introduce you to the martial arts pavilion, and you may have a share of the elixir. When Wu Xiaoqan heard this, he quickly shook his head and said. Forget it, I don't regret it at all. Don't let me join the cabinet. Just eat it and enjoy it. Not to mention that Wu Xiaoqan didn't regret it, even if he regretted it in his heart, he didn't dare to regret it after hearing her words. Otherwise, you have to eat whatever. As he said that, Wu Xiaoqan subconsciously took a few steps away from her and said. You talk, stay away from me. Even though Mo Mingzu was a peerless beauty, Wu Xiaoqan was frightened when he thought about what she had eaten. Under the influence of his psychology, he even felt that Mo Mingzu's breath smelled like something fishy, so he stayed away. When Mo Mingzu saw this, she became even more angry. This guy is so disrespectful to himself. Are you still hiding from yourself as if you were a bedbug? Junior sister, What's wrong? At this time, Shi Zhenxiang and Liao He came over. Haha, it was you who defeated thousands of geniuses at Duodao Peak that day. Shi Zhenxiang stared at Wu Xiaoqan and sneered. Wu Xiaoqan said, I have already said that I was careless that day, it was really not intentional. Stop pretending. Shi Zhenxiang sneered and said. Don't play this trick. You have no right to pretend like this in front of us. Wu Xiaoqan was speechless. Liao He looked at Long Xuanhuan with an evil look and said. Is it you who has fallen into disgrace to the vice dean? Just wait, today, our martial arts pavilion will find them all. After speaking, he said. Junior sister, let's go, there is no need to talk to this kind of person. Mo Mingzu nodded and said to Wu Xiaoqan. I forgot to introduce you to these two real geniuses of the martial arts pavilion, Shi Zhenxiang and Liao He. Later, you will understand that the little cultivation you have is nothing compared to them. After saying that, Shi Shiren left. Looking at her back, Wu Dade suddenly sighed. These two are amazing. Everyone was confused. Shi Zhenxiang, Liao He, Yu Pinpin, can this be an ordinary person? Everyone. At this moment, a loud voice suddenly came. The golden list of martial arts has completely come to this world. Everyone looked up. I saw a golden light above the sky, and countless golden avenues of order suddenly rolled out from it, forming a ladder from the sky, falling across the sky to the earth. This is the only way to leave a name on the martial arts gold list. Climb the martial arts ladder. Good night. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 777. The martial arts ladder suddenly fell from the sky. This is a golden avenue that leads directly to the martial arts gold list. The martial arts ladder appears and the competition begins. Only the strong ones of the younger generation can step onto the ladder and gain opportunities. It is said that only those who successfully reach the 100th level of the ladder can be qualified to be named on the martial arts gold list. At this moment, everyone was staring at the martial arts ladder and speaking eagerly. Once in 100 years, every time it means a great opportunity. The competition for geniuses and heroes is just to leave a name on the gold list. Tailing, let's go and climb the ladder to heaven. We at Beast Spirit Mountain must not fall behind others. The hope of God of War Academy lies in you. For a time, Nangong Ao, Buletin Tailing, Beast Spirit Prince, Tuabolai Ugjiu and other powerful people were all heading towards the Great Ladder. The three powerful men of the martial arts pavilion also followed. Even Xian Yiming, the young master of Xianyi sect, a genius of both ice and fire, stepped forward. He looked at Mo Mingzu's back with a hint of anger in his eyes. Being abandoned by Mo Mingzu, today, he will show the power of ice and fire. At the same time, he also looked at Wu Xiaoqan and others with hatred. Now, he has received the news that Xian Yizong's entire army was wiped out, and his father, also died in the depths of the dead wasteland. When I get the inheritance from the golden list, you will all die. He stepped away. I will win the gold medal here for you. The guardians Xian Yiming also set off, and at the same time glanced coldly at Long Xuanhuan and others. Damn explorers, you are dead too. All the wizards in the field have climbed up the ladder. Young men, I want to catch up with you and talk about old times. Will it not affect you if I delay you today? Suddenly, the leader of Tailing sect Buletin Wanchen walked up to Long Xuanhuan and others with a smile. Your Excellency, you are proficient in ancient methods and materials, so I don't think you need the methods on this martial arts gold list. Please rest, you don't have to go up the ladder to heaven. Luo Tianling, the dean of the God of War Academy, also came indifferently. The two of them blocked the way of Long Xuan and others, exuding a faint and powerful aura. Even the Shanpo from Beast Spirit Mountain drove and used a giant eagle chariot to block Long Xuan and others. They are not willing to let Long Xuan and others participate in this competition. Previously, the reputations of Long Xuan, Wu Xiaoqan, and others were well known all over the world. Wu Xiaoqan single-handedly defeated thousands of geniuses of his generation, and Long Xuan's understanding of martial arts even made the vice dean of the martial arts pavilion kneel down to ask for advice. Therefore, they make all the big forces fearful. If they participate in this competition, the martial arts golden list of dead shooters may really be unknown. As members of the older generation, they were worried that the younger members of the sect would not be able to compete with Long Xuan, Wu Xiaoqan, and others. Therefore, for the sake of safety, they directly used their power to suppress others and did not allow Long Xuan, Wu Xiaoqan, and others to pass by. This can be called very vicious. For any genius, this is an undying hatred, which means that the road will be cut off and great opportunities will be missed. Wu Xiaoqan said with an angry look on his face. You are so despicable to use such a treacherous trick. Luo Tianling said calmly. Young man, you are still young. When you get older, you will understand that when you go out to hang out, you have to abide by the rules. We will not cut off your path directly. After our disciples get the inheritance on the martial arts gold list, we will give you some compensation. But before that, please watch the ceremony obediently here and don't disgrace us seniors. How about that? Xian King I couldn't help but said. Face. You are simply shameless. Qing Chen also said. Tisk, I haven't met anyone in a long time, and I'm going to bully them. He was ready to take out the broom. This emperor's butt is itchy. Wu Date also spoke. However, Long Xuan stretched out his hand and said. No need. He looked at the martial arts gold list on the sky indifferently, as if he was recalling it, as if he was thinking about it. Qing Chen and Wu Date were both confused, but they knew that senior brother Long Xuan was definitely not afraid of these bad old men. Perhaps, there were other situations. Immediately, they also stopped. Haha, those who know the current affairs are heroes. Young man, if you can't look back, it's a good choice to go to my sect and become my sect's saint son and become a follower, ha ha ha. When Buletin Wanchen saw this, he burst into laughter. At this moment, many geniuses have already stepped onto the first rung of the Great Dao Gold List. The steps of the golden list of the avenue are so wide, stretching for thousands of meters, that one step can accommodate 10,000 people. The people who came were all geniuses from all major forces, a total of more than 20,000 people. The person leading the way at this moment is actually Sen Yiming. Behind him were Nangong Ao, Buletin Tailing, Beast Spirit Prince, and the three powerful men of the martial arts pavilion. They all got the 7-star elixir to build their foundation, which was very powerful. Xian Yiming, Tuabolai Ugjiu, and others were lagging behind. On the martial arts ladder, every time you step on a step, there will be a variety of strange phenomena. The martial arts brand is constantly rising, and the rules are manifesting, testing the strength, talent, blood, etc. of those who ascend the ladder. Any shortcomings will prevent these geniuses from moving forward. Who is this person? He is so strong. I've never seen him before. Is he a genius from other regions? He is faster than us. Nangong Ao and others couldn't help but look at Sen Mingji with serious eyes. Sen Ming sneered, turned around, glanced at the people behind him, shook his head and said. As expected of one of the 8 desolations, he is too weak. As a person from the true ancestor realm, he is naturally arrogant and superior. As he said that, he glanced at Long Xuan and others in the distance below. Haha, these visitors were stopped by the natives in the north. It saved me a lot of effort. He moved on. The higher you go, the more powerful the light of martial arts becomes. The brand of martial arts displayed becomes more and more intensive, and even evolves into divine birds and so on. A chain of martial arts order was swept down, and thousands of people fell. A divine bird transformed from the power of martial arts flew by. Hundreds of geniuses fell silent and fell on the steps unable to move. Many people even knelt down while walking. Climbing the ladder to heaven is a journey against the heavens and extremely difficult. There are more than 20,000 geniuses, but only 2,000 can cross the 50th step. 100 people can reach the 80th step. The last 20 steps were even more difficult. Even Sen Mingji was sweating profusely as he gritted his teeth and moved forward. Behind him, Nanggong Ao, Mo Mingzhu, etc. followed closely behind. At the 90th level, there are only 20 people left. At the 95th level, there are only 10 people left. At this moment, thousands of miles below in the wilderness, there was silence, and everyone was extremely nervous. Finally, Sen Ming took the lead one by one and stood on the 100th step. The moment he stepped on it, a beam of martial arts holy light fell on him instantly. At this moment, Sen Ming was startled. He felt that his origin was being dialyzed and baptized by the holy light of martial arts. Below, in the wilderness, everyone was also extremely surprised and in an uproar. The first peerless genius who can inherit the martial arts gold list is born. Who is he? I don't know. Countless people spoke. If you step on 100 ladders to heaven, you have the qualifications to inherit. All the origins of the cultivator will be revealed, and the martial arts gold list will give the corresponding skills. Yukin Wu spoke solemnly and explained. Their martial arts pavilion is definitely the most familiar with the martial arts gold list. Hearing this, everyone nodded. Liao he went up. Someone exclaimed. Mo Mingzhu, Shi Zhenxiang, Nanggong Ao, they are following closely behind. The Prince of Beast Spirits is so strong, take the final step. Bulletin tailing seems to be a little weaker, but he also stepped forward with difficulty. Is that Xian Yiming, who is said to be one body of ice and fire? He can only crawl, but he managed to climb up. Below, there was a lot of discussion. At this moment, 8 geniuses have reached the 100th step. Only these 8 people. The holy light of martial arts falls, analyzing their origins, and is about to give martial arts methods. On the 100th step, Sen Ming calmed down. Looking from the outside, I saw Sen Ming's grey mist and white mist intertwined, like a dragon and a tiger fighting, and every ray of original energy was clearly visible. Suddenly, a golden scroll landed in front of Sen Ming. 1. Sen Ming took it excitedly. Dragon Tiger Fighting Fist. Sen Mingji shouted with joy. As expected, the young master expected it to be true. The origin of his cultivation comes from a mountain where dragons and tigers complement each other in the true ancestor realm. The methods given by the martial arts golden list are related to the practitioner's own original energy. Hearing this, the other geniuses next to him were also instantly filled with anticipation. What will we get? Liao He is looking forward to it very much. No matter what the method is, it will definitely shock the world. Shi Zhenxiang clenched his fists. Mo Mingzhu felt even more excited, and her whole body was trembling. She actually stood here, and was about to be recognized by Wu Zunfa. She couldn't help but look back and glanced at Wu Xiaoqan on the ground. Haha, I am now a heavenly fairy. And that guy is just like an ant. Hey, my technique is here. Suddenly, Liao He shouted. He lowered his head, picked up a scroll, and opened it with excitement and joy. But then, he was stunned. This, the Book of Barking Dogs. He was dumbfounded. What the hell is this? My origin, when did it have anything to do with dogs? I got it too. At this time, Shi Zhenxiang also spoke. He opened the scripture and was also dumbfounded, the divine dog fist. My, true understanding of the dog head. Nangong Ao was confused. Dog lying technique. Buledin Tailing felt that his mind was going crazy. Damn it, why did I, a great ancient practitioner of the heavenly wolf technique, get a copy of the secret technique of Dogtooth? The prince of the beast spirit jumped up even more. Damn it, no matter what I said, it should be related to wolves, why is it related to dogs? After hearing everyone's words, Mo Mingzu was also shocked. She looked at the scriptures that appeared in front of her and felt a little uneasy for a moment. No way, no way. She mustered up her courage and opened the scroll. I saw 4 words written on the scroll. The law of urination. Mo Mingzu's vision went dark and she almost fainted. She was simply going crazy. Oh my god, this scripture actually talked about the great magical power of the Tengu urine technique. As a girl, does she have to learn how to pee like a dog? At this moment, on the 100th step, many geniuses were confused. What the hell is this? Why do the martial arts gold medalists give them dog training stuff? And above the earth, all the forces looked at the scene on the 100th step and were dumbfounded. Because from their perspective, they could clearly see that the original energy of Nangong Ao, Mo Mingzu, Liao He, and others turned into big dogs and ran around. What's going on? What kind of evil dog did this attract? At the God of War Academy, Luo Tianling couldn't help but trembled and spoke. Yu Qinwu was dumbfounded and said, "What's going on? It's off, it's completely off. What kind of martial arts genius is this? He clearly looks like a dog genius. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert." Author, Gui Xin. Chapter 778. Warm reminder from Geixin, high energy warning. At this moment, everyone at the bottom of the martial arts golden list was a little dumbfounded. A group of geniuses who have climbed the 100th step, are all dogs. A pack of dogs. Senior brother Buledin, when did he learn his true nature as a dog? In Tailing sect, some people couldn't help but speak. Nonsense, senior brother Buledin has always been a swordsman. His origin should be in the shape of a long sword. Yes, what's going on? Many people are confused. How could the origin of Tiangang that I personally taught Ao turn into a dog? Luo Tianling, the dean of the God of War Academy, said angrily, "What the hell is this? We at Beast Spirit Mountain, have never practiced the ancient method of dog training. This, must be wrong, something is wrong." The mountain woman from Beast Spirit Mountain hit the ground hard with her cane, furious. Tai Ling practices supreme sword skills, where did he go? Buledin Wanshan couldn't help but shout. They are Taishan Baidu. They are extremely attentive to their own children and teach the sect's strongest method. It stands to reason that their origins should be manifested because of their cultivation methods. The result, it was all dogs. A pack of dogs. Grass. At this moment, the mentality of these big shots, big bosses, etc. was a bit broken. Even Yu Qinwu couldn't bear it anymore. He said, "No. There must be something wrong with this." He suddenly took out a charm from his sleeve. From the spell, a golden light shot out. "May I ask the Jinbang spiritual god, if there is anything wrong? The genius of our martial arts pavilion, should not be a dog in origin. Please check." He knelt down towards the martial arts golden list. Suddenly, the golden light flew directly into the sky and entered the martial arts gold list. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. The martial arts pavilion can actually communicate with the martial arts gold list. This is extremely outrageous. Golden list spiritual god, what is that? Are there any living beings on the martial arts gold list? How do I feel? The water in the martial arts pavilion is very deep. Many people were shocked at this moment. There was a deep fear in their eyes as they looked at the martial arts pavilion. However, at this moment, more people are paying attention to the sky. After that golden light disappeared into the martial arts gold list, another golden light suddenly emitted from the martial arts gold list. That golden light is tracing the origins of a group of geniuses such as Nangang Ao, Mo Mingzhu, and the Beast Spirit Prince. A golden curtain appeared in the sky. Cause and effect are manifesting, time and space are flowing backwards, and the martial arts gold list has strange and unpredictable power. Reenact time and space. Inferring cause and effect. The martial arts pavilion actually communicated with the martial arts gold list. This is very scary. Many people exclaimed. However, under everyone's gaze, the golden sky that had evolved from the martial arts gold medal list was filled with turbidity, and no picture could be seen for a long time. Damn dog, this thing doesn't seem to work well. Below, behind the crowd, Wu Dade couldn't help but speak. It's too slow, wait and see. The big black dog also had some disgust in his eyes and said. Nonsense, what kind of dog is this emperor? Anyone can deduce it if they want. Watch it. It waved its big paw. Suddenly, a scene emerged clearly on the golden curtain hanging in the sky. Everyone was watching. The first screen. It was a mighty big black dog. In a remote and uninhabited alley, it raised its legs. Then. So that's it? Seeing this scene, everyone in the audience was confused. What was going on? How could the martial arts gold medal deduction lead to such an indecent scene? Then, in the alley, a fat man held his nose and packed a cup of that thing and a bunch of that thing in a box. Hey, isn't this fat man with the mountain village fisherman and the others? As soon as Wu Dade appeared, someone immediately reacted. Suddenly, many people looked towards Long Xuanhuan and others. Surprised and doubtful. But I saw that Wu Dade's face was as steady as an old dog. Beside him, the big black dog raised its head proudly, and there seemed to be a hint of expectation in the dog's eyes. There is another picture in the big curtain. Someone spoke, and everyone hurriedly looked around, only to see the second scene appear on the golden curtain. That was Mo Mingzhu, Liao He, Shi Zhenxiang, Nangang Ao, and many other geniuses from major forces such as Martial Arts Pavilion and God of War Academy, eating black things. And that thing is the same as the one in the first picture. Exactly the same. Haha, I can finally have a little full meal. Senior brother Liao and senior brother Shi have divided me. Hey, I still have to accompany them at night. That's Mo Mingzhu, with a happy smile. The dean gave it to me. I can't waste it. I want to refine it as soon as possible to bring glory to my sect. That's Nangang Ao, swallowing wisely and tenaciously. After taking this medicine, my Dao foundation will be further solidified, and I will definitely have a place on the martial arts gold list. It was Bulat Tailing, who took the spiritual medicine with cold eyes. Haha, although it tastes a bit unpleasant, it is a magical medicine at least. I, the Prince of Beast Spirits, will rule the world. That's the Prince of Beast Spirits, grab it and enjoy it. The screen moves quickly. Many geniuses eat, it's all delicious. Then, the golden curtain disappeared. At this moment, the entire Tianai province suddenly fell silent. Under the sky, there is deathly silence. Everyone looked at that scene dumbly. It was like seeing a ghost. Especially above the 100th step. Liao He, Shi Zhenxiang, Nangang Ao, and others were all trembling at this moment. The scene in the big curtain looked like nine heavens thunder. No. Nangang Ao, who was originally very elegant, was the first to be unable to hold back at this moment, and he suddenly sprayed forward. Vomit. He immediately vomited and said. I, Nangang Ao, have lived a life of elegance, a life of refinement, no. Ugh. He is devastated. From today on, his image and dignity are all gone. Dog, shit, shit. Liao He put his hands on his throat and burst into tears. I don't really live anymore. Bulletin Tailing cried directly. He wiped his tears, took out a knife, and almost committed suicide. I actually ate it with my hands, I actually. The beast spirit prince was so angry that he was dizzy. He punched his chest so hard that he vomited blood. And Mo Mingzu was sitting on the steps at this moment. Tears were streaming down her beautiful eyes, and she looked stupidly at the bottom of the steps and the ground. She saw Wu Xiaoqan, she also saw the fat man, the dog. I'm so stupid, really. Mo Mingzu cried, her stomach spasmed, and she vomited violently, curling up like a worm. At this moment, she felt like she was dying, and her dignity was shattered to pieces. Wu Xiaoqan asked her if it was delicious before, and she actually answered very sweetly. Thinking of this, she vomited even more. At this moment, the Taoist hearts of a group of geniuses collapsed. Completely collapsed. These indigenous geniuses actually ate dog shit. Senming looked at everyone with complicated expressions. Fortunately, I had no money at the time and didn't take the photo of the so-called 7-star elixir. He had already seen that the shit that Genchi Pavilion was auctioning at that time was that shit. Senminji, am so smart. He couldn't help but feel happy. But, suddenly, he thought of something, and his expression suddenly froze. No. Even though I didn't take any photos of shit. But what I photographed was, dog urine. Senming's head was buzzing. It's over. That medicine has been sent to Middle-earth by Hoshino for the young master to take. Damn it! He subconsciously raised his eyes and looked in the direction of Zongtu. Sir, you must not drink it? Senminji felt like he was about to explode. And above the earth, many sect forces and countless masters were petrified by shock at this moment. No. No way, what the great geniuses ate was that dog's food. Some people couldn't help but spoke in a trembling voice. No. Impossible, how could such a genius eat that shit? How could this happen? Could it be that the geniuses turned into dog shapes because they ate dog shit? It's outrageous, it's outrageous. At this moment, the whole audience was in an uproar. All the forces and sects felt suffocated. Across the golden tomb, everyone seemed to be immersed in the scene. Many people had swelling in their throats and almost vomited. Damn, I remembered, this thing is used for auction by Genchi Pavilion. Auction shit. Damn it, isn't that the 7-star elixir? How could it turn into shit? While shocked, many people also felt doubtful. The efficacy of the medicine was well known to the world. How can shit have such a strong medicinal effect? Don't you understand yet? At this time, Yukinwu spoke, trembling and roaring. The shit is real, and the medicine is real too. Someone mixed shit into the medicine. When he said this, everyone understood. Damn, yes, it's just shit mixed with the medicine. The great virtue is missing. Damn it, a good miracle medicine is actually mixed with shit and sold. Who the hell thought of it? Talent. Needless to say, it's them. It's these guys. For a moment, everyone turned around suddenly and stared at Wu Date and his party. All the powerful sections. Their eyes were like spitting fire. You are so poisonous that you actually mixed shit into the medicine used by the great geniuses. Luo Tianling's old eyes trembled and he said. Where are your faces? Bulletin Wanchen was so angry that his brain was almost congested. He pointed at Wu Date and said. What the hell, you're missing a great virtue. Shanpo gritted her teeth and said. You actually harmed my grandson like this, destroyed my grandson's Taoist heart, I'm going to kill you. The murderous aura is boiling. Everyone was angry. How to speak? At this time, Wu Dade was unhappy and said. What do you mean it's mixed with medicine? You're not being unfair, my fat man's dog is pure. It's not adulterated at all. I'm a reputable merchant and I guarantee it will be genuine. He said, that's called a prank. But after hearing this, countless people spurted blood. Damn, is this a reputable business? Depend on. Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 779. At this moment, all the powerful sects in Tianai province were about to vomit blood. What did this damn fat man say? What does pure blah blah blah? This fat man is doing a fair business. At most, it's medicine mixed with shit. Don't worry, it's definitely not medicine mixed with shit. Wu Dade, on the other hand, spoke again, carelessly, with a look of pride in his eyes. Hearing this, everyone present couldn't bear it anymore. Going crazy. Him, kill them. Xuanhuan collapsed immediately. The main reason was that not only Xuanhuan, the sect's holy son, but also he had quietly started taking the spiritual medicine. This is what happened. I can't bear it. Such a vicious person has ruined the future of so many geniuses with just a piece of shit. He is so cruel. Kill them, chop them into minced meat and feed them to the dogs. Luo Tianling also roared, his old face extremely angry. I let you die well, and I'm sorry for what you did. Shanpo also looked gloomy and gritted her teeth. No matter where you come from, you will die today. In Qinwu's eyes, he was extremely confident. Everyone was staring at Wu Dade and others, ready to take action. The murderous intention is like water, and the situation is about to break out. However, at this moment, Long Xuanhuan suddenly spoke and said, they're going to die. He looked at the sky, at the 100th celestial step. What tricks are you trying to do to confuse the public with your lies? Do you think you can still delay time and survive? Xuanhuan raised the terrifying black machete, and the intent of the knife was about to burst out. Boom. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura suddenly fell from the sky. From the martial arts gold list. Not good. In an instant, someone shouted, and everyone turned their heads and looked towards the martial arts ladder. From the dome of the sky, in the martial arts golden list, a terrifying golden light, like a waterfall from the 9 heavens, suddenly fell, landing on the bodies of those martial arts geniuses. A horrific scene appeared instantly. I saw tens of thousands of geniuses on the martial arts ladder. At this moment, their bodies suddenly overflowed with blood and became fragmented, as if their bodies were torn apart by some kind of force. Ah! No! My bones, my skin and flesh have all been plundered. Blood flowed continuously, and at this moment, it was like rain of blood in the sky. Tens of thousands of geniuses were wailing. What happened? What happened? The power derived from the martial arts gold list is killing geniuses. Why is this happening? At this moment, everyone was panicking. No. Aor. Luo Tianling, the dean of the God of War Academy, suddenly looked at the 100th step. Xuanhuan, Shanpo, and others also looked over hastily. On the 100th step, the 8 geniuses were all imprisoned by the golden light. No. What's going on? This is wrong. At this moment, Sen Minji was standing on the martial arts steps, but his expression changed drastically, and he had a bad premonition in his heart. Around him, other geniuses were also restrained. Nanggong Ao, Beast Spirit Prince, Xuanhuan Tailing, Xian Yiming. On the contrary, Mo Mingzhu, Liao He, and Shi Zhenxiang, who were born in the martial arts pavilion, looked blank. They were actually safe and sound. How is this going? Nanggong Ao was shocked. He tried his best to use his martial arts skills to resist. However, in the golden light, the martial arts marks turned into knives and began to pick at his flesh and blood. Ah! Nangong Ao's eyes bulged, his flesh was stripped away, and soon, the thick white bones were exposed. My skin, it's peeling my skin, no, it hurts, it hurts. Bulatin Tailing screamed miserably, his whole body was dripping with blood, and his skin was peeled off by the light from his Tianling cover to his feet. My bones, don't, my bones are going to leave my body. The beast spirit prince knelt on the ground, his whole body trembling. His whole body seemed to be overcooked. With a slight push of some force, the bones were separated from the pile of rotten meat. My Danshan, don't, take away my Danshan. Xian Yiming, who was one body of ice and fire, was screaming miserably at this moment. Everyone suffered a terrible fate. Seeing the scene of everyone around him, Sen Minji panicked to the extreme. No. This is a trap, a conspiracy, the martial arts gold list, it's just a conspiracy. At this moment, Sen Minji already understood something. Introducing geniuses into the net, borrowing bones, taking meat, skinning, what is this? The fear in his heart reached the extreme. But, the next moment, he no longer felt fear, because his chest split open, and a hot heart was taken out bloody. No. Sen Ming looked up to the sky and cried out in pain. He knew that his death was near. He subconsciously turned his head and looked in the direction of Zongtu, and shouted the last words heartbreakingly. Young master, run away quickly, there is an explosion on the martial arts gold list. He then died on the spot. His words, the young master he followed, were destined to be unable to hear. Nangong Ao, Beast Spirit Prince, Sen Minji, etc. are all dead. Their bones, skin, flesh, etc. were pulled together by some force. Mo Mingzhu, Liao He, and Shi Zhenxiang were completely stunned as they looked at the scenes happening in front of them. Blood dyed the ladder red. Several geniuses who have stepped onto the 100th step, as well as tens of thousands of young people who have failed to pass on the martial arts gold list, are all lying dead on the ladder at this moment. There was more or less some kind of substance in their corpses, which converged towards the 100th ladder and entered the reorganized body. It seems to be constantly improving. All this is done in the blink of an eye. At the bottom of the martial arts ladder, everyone was shocked and trembling when they looked at the scene that happened on the martial arts ladder. It was as if their souls had been taken away. No. What's going on? How can such evil power be hidden in the martial arts gold list? Our genius, he is dead, killed by the martial arts golden list. At this moment, countless people were heartbroken. This can be called a real tragedy. Why? Luo Tianling from the God of War Academy, his old eyes filled with anger and fear coexisted, and he shouted loudly. Martial arts gold list, what the hell is it? Bulatin Wanchen also held the sword tightly and stared at the sky. My grandson, I want to avenge you. Behind Shanpo, a terrifying python swept out. There were tears in her old eyes, and the crutch in her hand was glowing. Drifting snow. In the secret, another master of the sixth realm also appeared. He was the old emperor of the Balan dynasty. After he obtained the elixir, he broke through to the sixth realm and hid in the dark. At this moment, his old eyes were filled with sadness. Martial Arts Pavilion, give us an explanation. At this time, Luo Tianling suddenly turned around and stared at Yukinwu of the Martial Arts Pavilion. You can communicate with the spirits of the martial arts gold list, and your descendants can still stand on the ladder of heaven, why on earth? He stared at Yukinwu and questioned. At this moment, everyone in the field came to their senses and looked at Yukinwu. The murderous intent forced him to come. However, at this moment, Yukinwu's face was extremely cold and gloomy. This is their fate. Sacrifice yourself to usher in the arrival of the Supreme Being, this is for the benefit of the common people. He spoke coldly. Bullshit, it's for the benefit of the common people. If you harm my disciple, I'll fight you. Kill. The genius of our sect must not die like this. For a moment, everyone in the field went crazy, and they rushed towards Xuanhuan. Want revenge. Luo Tianling, Buletin Wanshan, Shanpo, and other three masters also took action at this moment. The terrifying power of the six realms swept over. Xuanhu himself is only a master of the fifth realm. In the face of public anger, he will turn into powder in an instant. However, Xuanhu sneered slightly and said, "How dare a group of moths attack the fire?" In his hand, another golden jade talisman exploded. "Invite the spirit god to come." He knelt down and shouted. In an instant, a terrifying golden light fell from the sky. Many masters and countless sects in the north were suddenly unable to move when illuminated by this light. Even Buletin Wanshan, Shanpo, Luo Tianling and other sixth-level masters fell to the ground, with a look of extreme fear in their old eyes. "You not only want to kill the genius of our section, you also want to kill all of us?" Luo Tianling asked tremblingly. Xuanhu showed a sneer at the corner of his mouth and said, "Congratulations, you guessed it correctly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 780. The terrifying golden light fell, as if it contained supreme power, suppressing all resistance from everyone. No matter what kind of magical weapon or realm, it seems to be ineffective under the illumination of this golden light. This golden light itself contains the terrifying true meaning of martial arts. All the sects and forces in the audience fell to the ground and were suppressed to death. "It's over, it's over. We fell into a trap, it was a conspiracy. Martial arts pavilion, martial arts golden list, trap and kill everyone." Many people were desperate and cried helplessly. "Today, they will all die." Xuanhu was kneeling on the ground, looking feverishly at the top of the martial arts ladder. At this moment, on the martial arts ladder, a body was about to take shape. Nangong Ao's flesh, the bones of the beast spirit prince, Buletin Tailing's skin, Sen Minji's heart, Xian Yiming's stanchion, and bits of essence refined from the corpses of countless geniuses. Against the backdrop of endless golden light, that body looked monstrous and sacred. What happened? On the 100th step, Liao He and three other people survived. They looked horrified and knelt down. "Don't dare to look up. This is the moment everyone has been waiting for. Everyone has to pay attention. No one knows what will happen next. Who is the best in martial arts?" In the sky, a voice containing the true meaning of martial arts suddenly sounded. That voice shocked Wu Dade and others, because the voice was very similar to Long Zixuan. Immediately afterwards, the martial arts gold list, which was looming at the end of the ladder, slowly descended. Among them, suddenly a shadow seemed to come out. The phantom headed towards the newly condensed body on the 100th step. Directly submerged in it. At this moment, the body that was originally a dead thing suddenly opened its eyes. Two golden beams of martial arts divine light burst out from it, shocking the world. Below, on the ground, everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. He's alive. This is rebirth through reincarnation. The evil spirit in the golden list used the flesh and blood of many geniuses to condense the most perfect martial arts body. Conspiracy, a complete conspiracy. At this moment, many people spoke tremblingly. Who could have imagined that the martial arts gold list that the world was chasing was actually such a conspiracy? The spiritual god is reborn, and the martial lord comes to the world. Xuanhu knelt down and shouted. Behind him, everyone in the martial arts pavilion also knelt down and spoke. The spiritual god is reborn, and the martial lord comes to the world. The spiritual God is reborn, and the martial lord comes to the world. Wuzun comes to the world. Could it be that there is still an evil thought left by the martial master from the pre-White Mist era in the martial arts gold list? Luo Tianling from the God of War Academy spoke now, but his eyes were full of fear. His conjecture made many people feel that this matter was terrifying. The golden list of martial arts is related to that earth-shattering figure in the former Beiwu era, Wuzun. How could the spirit that came out of it not be reminiscent of Wuzun? But at this moment, Wu Dade said, "What a god of martial arts! Senior brother Long, this guy is ruining your reputation. Can you bear it?" Long Xuanhuan shook his head and said, "There's no need to rush. On top of the 100th step of the ladder to heaven." The body opened its eyes. The golden light dissipated, and there was actually a sense of vicissitudes of life in his eyes. Martial Lord. There seemed to be a trace of nostalgia and sadness in his eyes, but then he waved his hand. In an instant, Yukinwu and others who were kneeling on the ground below suddenly had a mouthful of grey blood, and their hair turned white instantly, as if they had been chopped off by a knife. Yukinwu and others suddenly looked very ugly. Why? Yukinwu trembled. Why did Wuzun do this? However, the martial lord on top of the ladder spoke calmly and said, "Who can call upon the name of the martial lord? I am not worthy either. You have violated a taboo by calling me honorable. For the sake of your diligent service, I will spare your lives. You can call me Wu Yazun." Wu Yazun. As soon as these words came out, everyone's expressions turned pale. Isn't Wuzun's spirit? Yes, the martial master from the former Beiwu era has died long ago and cannot be reborn. Although this martial arts gold medal is related to him, it is not him. Wuzun, what kind of grace did you have in the past that made even such evil spirits feel in awe? Many people are whispering. Even though the being who was once a master of martial arts has been dead for countless time and space, he is an evil spirit, but he still needs to be in awe. How powerful is this? Yukinwu and others also looked startled. He and others were seriously injured because of this. Meet Wu Yazun. They didn't dare to question, they knelt down and shouted. Hearing this, Wu Yazun on the 100th step of the ladder nodded, showing a slightly satisfied look. Then, his eyes seemed to be looking towards the heavens. A new era, a new catastrophe. The new Wu Yazun spoke in a low voice. He murmured, "The great formation set up by 10,000 roads' end will be broken in this life, and the strange spirits will be restless." Wu Yazun glanced at the rocky mountain below. Tianai Mountain. The remnants of the past are trying to subvert the world. He whispered, "I should kill all enemies." After saying this, he walked out with his hands behind his back, looked towards Tianai Mountain, and shouted, "You have been dormant for a long time, why don't you dare to fight?" He trailed off. Tianai Mountain suddenly exploded. Among them, a big grey hand protruded from the earth and strangled the new Wu Yazun. Weird creatures. What a strong weird aura. This is a purely weird creature, not a cultivator following the 9 Dharma path. Tianai Mountain contains such giants. Countless people were shocked. They have all recognized that what is hidden in Tianai Mountain is a purely strange creature. Since the post-White Mist era, the Chaos Ancestral Realm is no longer a pure White Mist world. If the pre-White Fog era is the pure origin of the White Fog, then the post-White Fog era is more like being in the historical time and space where the White Fog era and the Grey Fog era meet. However, although all sentient beings also cultivate the origin of Grey Mist, they are based on the 9 methods created by the being known as the End of 10,000 Paths. They are completely different from the strange creatures who come from outside the territory and purely cultivate the origin of Grey Mist. Under everyone's gaze, that terrifying grey hand rose up against the sky and almost strangled Wu Yazun. "Martial Master is dead, who do you think you are? You dare to come and kill me?" There seemed to be an angry sound in Tianai Mountain. Wu Yazun shouted loudly, his fist skills were shocking, and he punched down, cracking the sky and colliding with the big hand. Boom! The sky exploded. At this moment, Wu Yazun and the strange existence in Tianai Mountain started fighting. At the same time, in the Wuhuang realm, some kind of power came from nowhere, and the rules of heaven and earth manifested, protecting the earth and space. The emergence of this power limited the scope of the war. Otherwise, in a battle of this level, Tianai province may be directly sunk, and the entire northern border will be devastated. Under countless mysterious principles, Wu Yazun fought fiercely with that existence. Ordinary people can no longer see clearly. Because that war had distorted time and space. After a long time. Boom! The martial arts gold list above the 9 heavens suddenly fell on Tianai Mountain, like a seal. Smoke and dust fell, and the ground was crisscrossed with ravines. Even though a mysterious force appeared to protect the world, the impact on the land was still devastating. Until this moment, the distorted time and space was restored. Everyone is looking towards the sky. On the ladder to heaven, a strong man with unparalleled auras stood with his hands behind his back. It is Wu Yazun. His body was stained with grey blood. I have been born. Suppress this enemy. Wu Yazun whispered and glanced lightly at the 3 people kneeling on the 100th step. Mo Mingzhu, Liao He, Shi Zhenxiang. The 3 of them have been shivering and kneeling like chickens ever since Sen Ming and his group were skinned and boned. Fortunately, they have been fine. The 3 of you are slaves sent by the martial arts pavilion. Unfortunately, you are a little weak. Wu Yazun opened his mouth and waved his fingers. All 3 of them were empowered by a golden light. At this moment, their breath grew wildly. Liao He and others were all extremely surprised. Thank you, Master. They spoke directly, with tears of gratitude in their eyes. Although the martial arts pavilion had not told them the truth before, they now understood it. This big shot Wu Yazun is the existence that martial arts pavilion has been following. And to be chosen by him and become his slave. It will be a great honor. After a battle, I lost a lot of energy. Wu Yazun spoke, and there were some faint cracks on his body. Before his body was fully formed, he had gone through a great battle, which created hidden dangers for him. Moreover, he did not completely kill the strange creatures in Tianai Mountain, but temporarily blocked them with the martial arts gold list. No, I will kill this weird creature today. Wu Yazun glanced at the countless people below the martial arts ladder and said calmly. Kneel down, offer the divine particles in your flesh and blood to replenish my vitality, and then kill the enemy. With his words, all the major sects and forces knelt down. 6 realm masters such as Buletin Wanchen and Shanpo could only crawl and tremble. They all understood that the fate waiting for them would be like those geniuses on the martial arts ladder. They would die, and their flesh and blood would be refined into divine particles and absorbed by the Wu Yazun. I don't want to die. Spare my life. Many people were begging. Huh? Why don't you kneel down yet? Suddenly, Yukin Wu saw Long Xuanhuan and the others. They were standing there unharmed. How dare you be so arrogant in front of Wu Yazun? If you don't kneel down, you will be buried in the dead place. Yukin Wu threatened in a ferocious voice. Many people also looked at Long Xuanhuan and others with surprise in their eyes. Why could they actually stand in the face of Wu Yazun's pressure? But at this moment, Long Xuanhuan stood calmly with his hands behind his back. He looked at Wu Yazun above the 9 heavens, who was standing on the ladder and shining with golden light. Kneel down. He said calmly. Then, come down and kneel down. He was speaking to Wu Yazun in the 9 heavens. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. Is this guy crazy? How dare you provoke Wu Yazun like this? Are you disrespectful to that superior, unworldly being? You wanna die? Yukin Wu was also furious, and he was about to take action against Long Xuanhuan and others. But, In the next moment, a hand slapped him away. At some point, Wu Yazun, who had just stood tall in the 9 heavens, actually appeared on the field. His face was actually filled with a look of shock, horror, and excitement. Wu Yazun knelt directly in front of Long Zixuan. "You are the master. Meet the master!" Wu Yazun shouted excitedly. At this moment, the whole place was dead silent. Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 781. At this moment, everyone in front of Tianai Mountain was shocked. Deathly silence. Everyone was stunned, as if they were petrified. Wu Yazun, an unparalleled strong man who emerged from the martial arts gold list, can fight with strange creatures until the earth collapses. Now, actually kneeling in front of a young man? Call yourself the owner. How can this be? Everyone felt stupid and stunned, as if they had seen the most unbelievable thing in the world. What is going on? Luo Tianling, the dean of the God of War Academy, was trembling at this moment. His old eyes were filled with an unprecedented fear. The strong man who came out of the martial arts gold list actually knelt in front of him. Who is he? Bulletin Wanchen looked at Long Zixuan and felt frightened. Wu Yazun calls him master and says he is Wu Yazun. Shan Po was even more frightened. Yukin Wu got up from the ground on the other side. He looked ahead as if he had seen a ghost. What? Even Wu Yazun actually had to kneel in front of that person. God, who is that person? Who exactly did I offend? Yukin Wu felt that his bones were weak and he fell to the ground. His face turned pale and cold sweat dripped down his face. Everyone stared at Long Zixuan. Master, you are the master. Wu Yazun, however, was still kneeling in front of Long Zixuan at this moment, his face extremely excited. Long Zixuan glanced at Wu Yazun lightly and asked, "Are you the stone from the past?" Wu Yazun nodded and said, "In the past, before you set out on that road, my master, you lived in Wuzhou city for a while. At that time, Xiaoxi was just outside your thatched cottage and was imbued with the spirit of martial arts. The little stone later evolved into a martial arts gold medal. After practicing for a long time, it transformed into a spirit, and it lasts until today." He spoke carefully. And hearing this, the people around him were even more shocked. The martial arts gold list was just a stone in the past. Just because he was infected with Long Zixuan's aura, he became a martial arts gold medalist, and even possessed spiritual intelligence, and became such a giant today? This is simply unimaginable. He is Wu Zun. Luo Tianling couldn't help but speak. At this moment, he was completely confirmed. Didn't Wu Zun die in the pre-White Mist era? He was reborn. How could this be so? Many people feel shuddering. Even though it is already the post-White Mist era, there are still endless legends about Wu Zun. Especially in the martial arts world. There is a saying in the world that the source of all Dharma in the martial wilderness, is actually the martial lord from the pre-White Mist era. Now, across the eternal fog and the long river of time, the world actually saw Wu Zun here? Who can believe this? But, everything is so real. You are full of martial arts spirit, but you have no martial arts heart. Long Zixuan opened his mouth. He looked at Wu Yazun who was kneeling in front of him and said, "Martial arts, don't bully the weak. Don't kill innocent people. Don't be afraid of strong enemies. Of course, how did you do it?" Hearing this, Wu Yazun was even more frightened. He kowtowed, his face turned pale, and he said, "Xiaoxi is guilty. Master, please calm down, Xiaoxi has confessed his sin." Long Zixuan had a touch of coldness in his eyes and said, "If it weren't for the fact that you still have a trace of conscience and the heart to suppress strange creatures, you would be dead at this moment without a burial place. Of course, the death penalty can be avoided, but the living crime is unforgivable. The innocent people were killed and stained with blood, I cut off your mind and destroyed your soul. Do you have any complaints? Cut off your mind and destroy your soul. Wu Yazun trembled when he heard this, but he lowered his head and said, Xiaoxi dare not disrespect the master's words. It's just that the weird creatures here are still alive. Can master allow Xiaoxi to do his last bit and let me kill him? This is his last wish. After hearing these words, everyone around them had even more complicated expressions. Wu Yazun, this is a giant who has just been born. Even weird creatures can be suppressed. Now, he was about to be cut off from his mind, but in the end, he didn't even dare to resist. This contrast can be called terrifying. Who wants to kill me? Delusion. And at this moment, Tianai Mountain suddenly began to shake violently. The martial arts golden list that was suppressed at the pass of Tianai Mountain seemed to be impacted by some kind of force and was about to be unable to suppress it. Master, Xiaoxi, go. Wu Yazun looked at Long Zixuan expectantly. However, Long Zixuan shook his head and said, there is someone on the martial arts gold list who still has the spirit of me. Killing him is enough. After saying this, Long Zixuan stepped forward. Suddenly, golden steps appeared step by step under Long Zixuan's footsteps. That is the invisible martial arts ladder. The martial arts ladder leads directly to the martial arts golden list suppressed at Tianai Mountain Pass. At this moment, on the gorgeous martial arts gold list, there was suddenly a certain aura evolving. That was, the aura of the martial lord who belonged to the pre-white mist era. That kind of aura resonated with Long Zixuan's footsteps. Long Zixuan stepped forward one step at a time. He stood in front of the pass of Tianai Mountain and raised his hand. In the martial arts gold list, the suddenly endless martial arts aura also evolved into a hand. Master, borrow the spirit of the past life to act out the methods of this life. Wu Yazun was shocked, he already understood. At this moment, Long Zixuan is using the energy from his previous life to evolve his martial arts. Long Zixuan is now only at the peak of the three realms. It can be said that his cultivation in this life has just begun. Of course, it was impossible for him to directly kill that terrifying and strange creature. However, the remaining aura on the martial arts gold list can allow him to exert some of his previous life's strength. Borrow the energy of the past life to act out the laws of this life. Long Zixuan clenched his fist. Then, punch it down. Simple and direct. The martial arts hand suspended above Tianai Mountain turned into a terrifying fist at this moment, and fell suddenly with Long Zixuan's movements. Smash it into Tianai Mountain. That fist exuded a terrifying aura of martial arts, powerful and overbearing, with an invincible and fearless aura of fighting against the heavens and the earth. When a punch fell, it was as if the sky was shattering and the earth was shattering. The sky trembles, and heaven and earth howl. The mysterious power reappears to protect this world, otherwise, the entire northern territory may be sunk. No. At the foot of Tianai Mountain, an unknown being shouted in horror, saying, Wu Yazun's fist? How could it reappear in this life? The endless grey mist origin energy surged wildly to resist that punch. However, that punch was like thunder from the nine heavens, destroying everything. Boom! Tianai Mountain suddenly exploded from it. The entire mountain was flattened. As the mountain exploded, countless stone fragments flew everywhere. It was a stone body. That weird creature was directly killed by a punch. Seeing this scene, everyone in the world was trembling with fear. One punch kills the strange creatures. This, perfect martial arts. The demeanor of the martial lord from the pre-white mist era, is truly invincible in the world. Terrible, terrible, how could such a strong man fall in the pre-white mist era? Countless people spoke. Their eyes were full of awe when they looked at Long Zixuan. It's like worshipping a god. The master returns, his style remains the same. Wu Yazun looked at Long Zixuan's back, his eyes filled with ardent admiration. Master, there are big changes in this life. He then spoke, as if saying goodbye reluctantly, and said, there is a large formation in the chaos ancestral realm to suppress all ominousness and chaos, but in this life, there will be chaos. In order to protect the ancestral realm, Xiaoxi took the wrong path. Xiaoxi wanted to follow your path and fight your former enemies, but following your path requires flesh and blood, that's why he made many big mistakes. I'm sorry, Master. Wu Yazun, or Xiao Shitu, actually had a trace of tears in his eyes at this moment, saying, Xiao Shi is just a clone. The main body is not here. It is in the southern region, watching the South China Sea, waiting for your lotus to bloom. It knows that you will be very happy when you return. After saying that, Wu Yazun's body suddenly split open and turned into flesh and blood. His mind and soul died directly. He committed suicide. At this moment, the sky was dim and the golden light had completely disappeared. The martial arts gold list has dimmed, and the unparalleled Yazun has disappeared. There is only a piece of stone that has been waiting for thousands of years in the dust and rubble. Long Zixuan stood with his hands behind his back and was silent when he saw the broken stone.